Okay, so today I got 3 different places in the United States: Vermont, Las Vegas, and Washington, D.C. All of them are now dealing with the fallout from the international tourism boycott. Each report shows a different angle on how it's hitting their cities. What stood out to me the most isn't just the complaints, it's their reasoning on why it's happening and how badly it's hitting their bottom line. And there's one more common factor in all 3 of these reports, or at least 2 of them. See if you can spot it, and then we'll see at the end of the video. Before we get started, today's backdrop comes out of Coombs, British Columbia. And yes, those are goats that you see on the top of the market. When I was a kid, my parents and I used to drive through here on our way to Port Alberni to go fishing. It's a pretty cool sight to actually see the goats on the roof. So if you want to check out more on this market, you can go to oldcountrymarket.com. And if you're ever in BC or on the island, make sure you stop by and take a look. Just a public service announcement. Please double check the channel name when you're clicking on my videos. And make sure it's actually really my channel. Alright, let's get into it.
Kendrick Bellows is the manager at the Sandbar in South Hero.
We're here for you. We're your neighbors.
The restaurant is still in its honeymoon phase and only just moved into the space this year. In that short time, Bellows says he's noticed less foot traffic coming from north of the US-Canada border, as an ongoing trade war threatens the relationship between the two countries.
We are missing them, certainly.
Businesses like Sandbar have come to rely on, especially those that have set up shop in the islands and just south of the border.
They're neighbors that we have been dealing with for many, many years and have created an established relationship with them.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right here for a minute, because there's already a few things worth pointing out just in the first 30 seconds. The reporter says there's a lot less foot traffic coming into the States because of the ongoing trade war. I don't know why, I'm really sick and tired of hearing that. And let's be clear, this trade war was actually started by their own president. But once again, the reporter leaves something out that's probably the most important thing. Not a single mention of why Canadians have been disrespected, or how our sovereignty has been treated. I honestly don't know why they just can't say it. They gotta be restricted somehow, or they just don't care. Now, second thing, how many times have we heard a US business owner or official say, "We're here for you, we support you, or we miss you"? For me, those are empty words. Not because I don't appreciate the sentiment, but because of what's really behind it. As this report goes on, you're gonna see exactly why they miss us, and what they really mean when they say they're here for us.
And, it's like drawing a line between me and you. We're that close.
The tensions at the border are just one of the major issues facing Vermonters.
What do we do?
Nearly 200 local business owners showed up to Snow Farm Vineyard Tuesday to speak their minds.
We're looking at about a 30 to 40% decrease in our Canadian friends coming down and visiting. It's substantial to our bottom line.
And to hear from Senator Peter Welch about the progress he and Vermont's congressional delegation have made in Washington. Earlier this month, the U.S. increased tariffs on some Canadian imports from 25% to 35%. It's part of the reason that Canadians say they're ditching summer vacation plans in the U.S.
No, as a Canadian, I'm not ditching my summer vacations because of the tariffs. It's because of your president and the 77 million who voted for him. During Trump's first term, I was still traveling to the US. Yes, the tariffs were there and they were annoying, but I still crossed over the border for trips. The difference now is the 51st state rhetoric and the annexation threats. And this isn't just about Donald Trump anymore. It's about the 77 million who follow him and also voted for him, who believe Canada shouldn't even exist as a sovereign country. Like this clown right here. If you don't know who he is, he's the Maine state senator who wrote a letter to Canadian MLAs, laying out step-by-step instructions on how Western provinces could assimilate into the US system. I'm not even joking. If you haven't heard about it, I'll leave a link in the description below to my previous video. If Trump hadn't dragged Canada into this 51st state garbage, I'd probably be still going south to the border for day trips and vacations, and this channel might not have even existed.
The owners of Snow Farm said hosting the event was a no-brainer.
We're really big on community. We're really big on supporting people's voices and allowing them to talk.
The senator tells Vermonters he echoes their concerns.
You have relationships. These Canadian folks that come down here year after year, they're our neighbors.
And that he will continue to fight for them in D.C., but will need support from home to make it work.
This is a real blow to the affordability challenges that we have in Vermont. It's made it much worse and not better.
In South Hero, Jackson Stover, NBC5 News.
I do appreciate their effort, and I respect that the reporter said they'll fight for Canada in DC. But here's my question, and this is just my own opinion. Are they fighting for us because our sovereignty was threatened? Or are they fighting for us because we're no longer funding their economy? It's something that I keep asking myself, especially after my chat with R, who gave us insights from Arizona on what the US really thinks about Canada. Not one business owner in this interview mentioned the 51st state rhetoric. They didn't call him out. They didn't condemn it. Instead, every one of them was focused on their bottom line. And it makes me wonder, do these business owners even realize how deeply Canadians are hurt by all of this? Or is their only concern what's in their bank account? It really sucks that I have to think this way. But let's not forget something. Many of the business owners we keep hearing from in these reports, some of them are actually the same ones that voted for Donald Trump. I can't say exactly who did. We don't know. But if you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably have a good sense of which ones did and which ones didn't. Now let's move on to the next report. This one comes out of Washington, D.C., where Trump has just taken control of the federal police and brought in even more National Guard troops. Ask yourself this. Does this sound like a place you want to spend your vacation right now? And by the way, I'm not even going to bother trying to hide the cat meows. Nothing I can do.
The very latest on President Trump's federal takeover, which we are seeing expand each day. We have new video showing the National Guard and federal law enforcement patrolling across D.C. at high traffic tourist areas like Union Station, the Thomas Jefferson and Lincoln Memorial, and Navy Yard. And in that neighborhood, another extended youth curfew is taking effect tonight. This is for anyone under 18 years old. Now, teens in violation, they will be taken to the city's Youth Services Center, and parents could be fined. The curfew zone, you see, is a very large area, though, mapped out. It starts at 8 p.m. each night through Monday. And remember, folks, there's still that citywide curfew in place. It starts at 11 p.m. and runs through 6 a.m.
I don't know about you, but this doesn't sound very welcoming for tourists. Unless, of course, you're interested in experiencing what it's like to walk through a military-controlled zone. I'll be honest, I haven't kept up with every single thing happening in the US. There's just too much going on down there. But I can't imagine any sane person wanting to be caught in the middle of any of that. Now, the reporter in this next clip tries to play it cool, like tourists are still showing up. But when they cut the video to show the background, it's completely empty. I'll let you see for yourselves.
Well, this morning in D.C., tourism leaders are walking a fine line, reassuring visitors the district is safe, even as the federal takeover of D.C.'s police force grabs headlines nationwide. 7 News reporter John Gonzalez spoke with the head of Destination D.C. and a city economist about what this means for our local economy. John.
Yeah, that's right. From Penn Quarter to the National Mall and to different neighborhoods, including Navy Yard, where we are, tourists are still arriving. They're still snapping photos and going into the restaurants, booking some of the hotels. But many of them are arriving with plenty of questions. Destination D.C. President and CEO Elliot Ferguson says that's what his office is hearing from many visitors as well. Ferguson points out crime is at a 30-year low, but he admits perception is powerful right now, and the national spotlight suggests violence and military control. With Restaurant Week starting this coming Monday, the Restaurant Association is encouraging eateries to call customers directly if reservations are dropped, and they are seeing them drop. They are trying to keep dining rooms full. Ferguson says this isn't D.C.'s first test, pointing to events like January 6th, the sniper attacks, even 9/11, and each time tourism bounced back. But some like...
Seriously? Tourism will bounce back? My God, how delusional is this Destination DC guy, whatever his name is, Mr. Ferguson? You cannot compare chaos happening right now with 9/11. 9/11, and I'm not going to get into the details, but that was a moment where the international community didn't have anything against the United States. And in fact, we came around and actually supported the United States. January 6th, that was your own internal conflict. And that sniper attack, I don't really remember that one. But then again, that's your own internal issue. But what happened today in 2025 is completely different. This isn't about one tragic event. This is about a country where most of the world wants nothing to do with you anymore because of your administration. And here's the key difference. Those past events weren't caused by your own president's words. This one is. And because of that, it's not just something that just recovers. This will take generations to fix. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me.
City economic development expert John Boyd believes this extra security may actually help.
We think this will be a boost for tourism. The additional law enforcement presence, I think, gives comfort to a lot of folks and makes them feel more comfortable spending money in the district.
What about the...
Sorry again for the interruption, but I can help myself. This is just one of those moments where I just sat back, pulled that Steve Harvey face, and went, what? Because whoever this guy is, he's completely out to lunch. Let me ask you, would anyone watching this right now actually feel safer going to Washington, D.C.? A city with military National Guards roaming the streets, ICE agents running around like a pack of wolves, and Trump supporters still filling the district. For me, that's a hard pass as a tourist. And to think, I was actually considering going to New York and Washington, D.C. next year. Instead, I'm glad I'm hopefully going to be heading to Australia and Belgium instead.
Thousands of people that are coming domestically and internationally. Not only are they having to do more due diligence in terms of giving them insight as to how safe the city is, but we're now having to reach out to all those customers and share with them exactly the same thing. So it just makes it much more difficult.
And while there haven't been any big events or conventions canceled yet, phone calls from concerned visitors have been nonstop. Ferguson says they are sharing facts with hotels and visitors, hoping to change the narrative that they are hearing from around the country right now.
So now DC is trying to convince everyone that there's still a lot of tourists coming. This despite my earlier video a few weeks ago, where a tour guide admitted that he's struggling. They're also trying to spin it like people should somehow feel safer in DC because of all the heavy military presence. You can't make this stuff up. But sadly, a lot of US citizens will believe it. I'm glad the US citizens watching my channel know better. You can see right through these media reports, and you know what's really going on. Now, the last report comes out of Las Vegas. I'll admit, I got a little bit tired of covering Las Vegas because we know what the true story is. But this one's a little bit different. It's from CBC. Let's get into it.
Sin City is in a slump, and Canadians are partly to blame. Now, travel in Vegas is down about 11%, according to some of the figures that we've gotten from the Visitors and Convention Center. We can show our audience some of these figures. Some Americans are holding back, as well because of some higher fees. There's fewer perks for gamblers. But when you look at the airline data, you can see there has been an even sharper decline in the number of Canadians. The number of Air Canada passengers, that's down 33% year over year. WestJet, the largest Canadian carrier to Vegas, their traffic is off about 31%. And then low-cost carrier Flair, it's off a stunning 62% year over year. And so the casinos are hurting, their stocks are down, and some of the CEOs of these major resorts are specifically mentioning Canada as the reason for their softer than expected results. I listened in on their quarterly conference calls, and the CEO of MGM Resorts said Canadian traffic has dropped off since the beginning of the year. There was a major dip after Trump launched the trade war, and it hasn't recovered.
Now, this is what caught my attention. For the first time, I've heard someone from Las Vegas admit that Canadians are the specific reasons for the weaker than expected results. And this wasn't some tourism board or government office, someone trying to create fluff. It came straight from the CEO of MGM. That's an opinion that I actually trust more than any tourism official or politician. So props to the MGM CEO for actually saying it out loud. Now, the real question is, will Las Vegas media, tourism officials, or government leaders finally admit to it as well? I'm not holding my breath.
The leader of Caesars Entertainment, another major operator along the Strip, says Canadians are a big reason why there are so many rooms that have gone empty over the last number of months. So I can tell you that this phenomenon has not gone unnoticed by some of the casino bigwigs. So I spoke to one expert at the University of Nevada to find out just what sort of impact this has had on the local economy. He crunched the numbers for me very generously, and he found that Canadians contributed about $3.6 billion US to the local economy last year, supporting 43,000 jobs in Las Vegas alone. That's more than manufacturing. That's more than the utility sectors. It's nearly as big as what the major Air Force base in the region contributes. And that's saying something because they have 15,000 military personnel working on that base. So, if this boycott continues, there could be job losses. And that's really a problem because Nevada, it already has the second highest unemployment rate in the US.
So there you have it. Our efforts to stop traveling to Las Vegas is being noticed, and it's being noticed by someone who actually matters, the CEO of MGM. That alone should tell you something. No matter what spin you hear from Las Vegas media, or from the YouTube content creators that live down there, or from tourism and government officials, Canadians are making an impact. It's not just the high fees and the high prices and resource fees. So let's keep it going. Keep booking trips to other destinations outside of the US. And keep showing that Canada's money stays out of their pocket. So what's my takeaway from these three reports? First, Vermont. Yes, they might be showing support for us. But are they supporting Canada because their president insulted our right to exist? Or are they only supporting us because they're losing money? Second, Washington, D.C. They're trying to play it off like the city is booming, and that heavy military presence should somehow make people feel safer. I'm still shaking my head on that one. I really don't understand. And third, Las Vegas. Canadians are making an impact, a big one. And it's way bigger than what the US media, YouTubers, and tourism officials want to admit. Now here's the bigger picture. These are stories being fed to millions of Americans who take it just at face value and believe every word. But the reality is simple. The longer they spin fluff and try to cover things up, the harder the truth is going to be when it comes out. And when it does, a lot of US businesses are going to be left standing there wondering, how did this happen? And to be honest, I can't wait for snowbird season. If you found this video helpful, hit the like and subscribe so the message reaches more people. And also share it with your friends too. And if you're still here and you want to see more of my videos, check out the ones that are going to show up on your screen right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.